in the basement, no longer alone, with my homegirl Terez on the microphone. Music, politics, or just chatting it up. Brunch in the basement, see that's what's up. You never know who might run through. Legendary artist or someone brand new. You miss a lot when you miss one day. At least that's what I heard somebody say. But it doesn't really matter what whoever says. It's always a good show with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Brunch in the basement with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Let's see who we got today or what we doing today or whatever it is, it's gonna be good. Woo!
What's up, everybody? This is Cy Smith, and you are in the basement with JaVonne and Terez. In the basement with JaVonne and Terez. In the basement with JaVonne and Terez. With the basement, hey, with JaVonne and Terez.
Ooh, I dig that.
Hi, this is JaVonne, and you're listening to and watching Brunch in the Basement with JaVonne and Terez.
Still in the basement, no longer alone, with my homegirl Terez on the microphone. Music, politics, or just chatting it up. Brunch in the basement, see that's what's up. You never know who might run through. Legendary artist or someone brand new. You miss a lot when you miss one day. At least that's what I heard somebody say. But it doesn't really matter what whoever says. It's always a good show with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Brunch in the basement with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Let's see who we got today. Or
come on, everybody's a friend in my head. I already know everybody.
Whatever it is, it's gonna be good. One day I'll tell you about me and Shaka Khan, but you know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But she doesn't know anything about it. But anyway. No, she doesn't. She wasn't even there actually. But anyway.
All our bosses though, Jay. Like she got our ears and
I'm gonna send y'all some tomorrow. I'll definitely get an address. I'll send y'all out tomorrow.
You can send me some cologne, cause I mean, you know, yeah. Just in case I should meet Shaka Khan, I want to smell really, you know, nice.
Oh God.
Okie dokie, babe. Whatever you say.
The time, so
and we thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you. This part, that little piece, I'm just gonna keep and play it all the time for myself. But no, I'm just teasing. And I think it's time, Terez, to do a little rapid fire with Mr. Richard Pryor Jr.
I think so. So
yeah.
Don't worry, we won't hurt you.
Hey, Rezzy Pooh, what's up?
Nothing much, man. It scared me.
Did I?
Landed on the. I don't know why. Landed on the. We don't worry, we won't hurt you. And I had that random thought in my head, but maybe we might.
We might. How's it going? How's everything?
Everything is groovy. I'll steal one of your words today. Everything is groovy, baby. Happy hump day. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. I'm okay. You know, this life of ours, you know, it is what it is, and that's what it is. I'm grateful for so many things,
Thank
So
you.
let me just say that.
Facts.
And since you said facts, it's a good reminder that feelings are not facts.
Feelings are nothing
However,
more than feelings.
this is true. And this adding to the singing collection, the song collection. I love it.
Oh, geez.
You can't help it. You can't help it.
I can't.
Don't even try to stop it. That's it. But yeah, it's a fact that we feel, though.
Yes.
So our feelings may not be factual. It is a fact that we feel.
90% of the time, 90% of the time they aren't factual.
Right.
They just, that's that 10% where things are, you react to something that is directly done. But the window of your feelings, because you have so many and you're always feeling, is that most of the time they're not facts. They're just the way you feel.
It's true.
It's
so true. So how are you doing? What's going on in your
full busy day today, but managed to get through it. Only didn't do one thing that I wanted to do, but I can shift that to tomorrow. And not being arrogant about God's time, because trust me, I'm clear we're all borrowed, but just I will, God willing, I will do that tomorrow. How's that?
I'm sure you will. I am sure that you will. I have complete and utter faith in you that when something needs to get done, you're going to take care of it. So,
thank you. That's nice to say, Silky.
Well, that's just the truth. It's who you are.
That's a good thing, Pop. That's a good thing, Pop. The IRS plans to delay this year's tax filing deadline till mid-May, so they pushed it a month,
which is really nice. Because I have not done mine yet. Thank you very much.
Well, it's a lot of stuff going on, and just to have some kind of mercy on the filers and the people that have to put paperwork together and fill out special forms, and it's a lot of stuff going on this year. Absolutely. That 2020 was a beast. And I'm not so sure 2021 is going to be any better with regard to that.
Do you realize that we're already a quarter of the way through 2021? We're a quarter of the way through it.
Yeah. First quarter down.
This is just an extension of 2020 so far.
Yeah. Facts.
I mean, the difference is that there is hope. Where there was none for a lot of folks.
True.
There's possibility and potential in our view, in the forefront. You can see that things, the higher potential that things will get better. Let's put it like that.
I think that's a collective willed energy. Out there from everyone. I think, unfortunately, I think a lot of us have learned to cope in this pandemic, and a lot of us are adept.
Yeah.
This is a tricky one. A lot of us have been adept to coping for so long that once we got the niche of COVID and how to move in it, became just something else that we had to do. Unfortunately, it triggered a lot of community issues, that now we are dealing with, but it'd be nice to think that we are going to be out of it. So that's where all the propelled energy is, I suppose,
Right. But and I think it's even more than COVID itself alone, having, regardless of what your political inclinations are, but to see that the CAC is
the who?
See, I said the CAC. I'm in my.
I was like, we got a new agency going on.
No, actually, that's from my work brain. I apologize for that. The CDC is what I was thinking.
Okay.
I don't know why all of a sudden I feel like straightening up. It's a hot ass mess over here. But anyway, I know I just stay still, focus. Um, yeah. So the CDC is actually spewing more of what seems like the truth as opposed to some ridiculousness. They have scrubbed their website clean of some of the nonsense that they were forced to have on their website before. And they came out and even said as much.
But okay.
Yeah, do it.
Now, I don't know about you.
Do we need to peel the onion?
We may have to.
Okay, let me, you know what? It was kind of early in the show and I really wasn't thinking
see, but you know when you poke the bear that never sleeps.
Exactly. And I should have been prepared. So for everybody who don't know, now you know, we're about to peel the onion. And breaking news.
Exactly. You know, so why don't we do this? Because what I was going to talk about was the fact that, you know, they scrubbed the website and what your statement was. But I'm going to shift it for a second to talk about this bullshit that just popped up. And if that's where we're going with this, I'm just trying to figure something out. Because the breaking news now is that a man was arrested outside of Vice President Kamala Harris's official residence, and he was armed and had ammunition in his vehicle.
And a rifle. Yes.
What the fuck is happening? Okay? Because why was he able to be over there?
How does he have her address?
Well, you know, some addresses are public depending on how long, you know.
This is not the time to be giving out her address.
Yeah, but you can get anybody's address. That's not a, you know, that, but the fact that you went over there, why don't they have some kind of security detail out there? So y'all are slipping on your shit now. You're slipping. And I don't know if that's deliberate or not, but we should be some, after we've had the siege on the Capitol and so many other things going on from all these homegrown terrorists, and up to and including the other homegrown terrorist that did the shooting in Atlanta, I think it was.
Yes, Atlanta.
All right. In Atlanta, okay? Another homegrown. None of these are Antifa, all the ones that we like to think were a threat. By and large, about 98% of them are right here on U.S. soil. All right. With that, I digress. But why wasn't this assumed that she would need that both? President, from all of that stuff, why wouldn't it be assumed that she would need extra security where places that she officially rests her head or otherwise?
So,
see,
clearly, I mean, I'm just seeing this, you know, getting the information from Pop as he's giving it to us.
Let me ask you why Trump has a security detail and this was allowed to happen to someone actively sitting in the role of vice president of this country. I'll wait. Anybody can answer that question.
Seems like I'm the only one here to do it. So I'll just, you know, speak from what is illogically logical, being that he's, oh God, I don't want to say it. Because he had that job, everybody who's ever had that job has security.
Okay.
Not that he did a good job.
You have security on former employees. Fine. Former employees of the corporation called United States. Fine. I'm not disputing the fact that they might need security. Hell, the one that left here might need a little security. Okay.
Yeah, and the one before him, definitely.
And the one before him, absolutely.
And I would pitch in for that one.
But my question is, why aren't active employees of this incorporation called United States?
Okay, so
protected.
I don't know that we don't know that there were Secret Service at the residence, because
a Secret Service official says none of the agency's protectees were at the residence at the time of the incident. See what I'm saying?
So that means that nobody was home. The protectees would be Kamala and her husband and whoever lives in the home, whoever's protected.
Correct.
We're not at the residence. So I believe Secret Service follows them around. I don't know if we don't know that Secret Service wasn't at the residence also. We don't know.
The same ones that was at the Capitol? Blink.
I don't know who was there, Terez.
I need somebody to answer that question. Who was that? Was it the same ones at the Capitol?
I don't know if the guy, Paul Murray, had a badge in his back pocket. I don't know anything yet. I don't know if he was on the security detail waiting, perpetrating a fraud, as we used to say,
Man, listen.
I don't know. We don't know enough information, but it'll come out.
I think we need to get some Fruit of Islam up in here. Even though they ain't do too good protecting Malcolm, maybe they can, redeem themselves here.
Nah, sorry, no. Not after what happened to Malcolm.
Well, we all know that was an inside job, but
yeah. So no, thank you. That's okay. Not that I trust these any more than I trust those. You just, you know what? You just can't trust nobody.
I don't want to believe that in my spirit.
It's hard, man. It's hard. What does say? Vice President Harris is not living at the residence while it's undergoing renovation. She is so.
See, now Pop know where she is.
Thank you, Pop.
Half of America, and
that's the truth too. I don't believe that the name. I don't want to talk about that. Look, I even had issues with Do the Right Thing. So okay, look, I'm not. I can't. I just feel I grew up that home business is home business.
Meaning
my laundry is in my house. And there's some things that I will discuss publicly. There's mostly everything I'll joke about publicly because it's a joke. You know what I'm saying? But my real true, everybody don't need to know how I feel about everything.
That's true.
And there's just some buttons for me that are hot.
Okay. Gotcha. Hot buttons.
And one of those hot buttons is
now, should you say them?
Yeah. This just I'm just gonna say this one button. As it is quote unquote Women's History Month. I'm not gonna say that either. Okay, so just damn it, JaVonne. Black women are queens.
Facts.
Who are not always supported, not reveled, revered, respected, acknowledged, appreciated, protected, selected, elevated, celebrated, appreciated, or seen the way they deserve to be, the way we deserve to be. And that's not only others who are missing the opportunity.
Come on, somebody.
To really, really behold the queen. But sometimes it's us. And that shit is hurtful.
That's the double whammy. Yes, I would have to agree when it's us, be it our sisters or our brothers, you know, because a lot of times, I believe, and no one can tell me any different because no one is proven any different. I'll say that again. I believe, because no one has been able to prove me wrong, that Black women can run this country and change the world. And they would be twice as effective if they had our brothers standing with us side by side to move that entire thing, whatever it may be. Now, we do a damn good job by ourselves. Trust and believe. There is no better force on this planet than united Black women. Period. The end. That's not even a discussion.
You know, you see this brother right here. This brother right here.
Brother Walt Taylor. Hey, family.
Always holding up his queen. Always holding up his queen. You see this dude right here?
Always. Fam.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so when I talk about these things, I'm not talking about all, because not all of everything or is anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Never that. I don't think all white people are one way or all Black people are one way. I don't think all of anything is anything.
Right.
You know, but sometimes you got to take a look at your majority and see, you know,
and ask what's happening.
Yeah, see what's happening and see how, you know, we might influence better. You know, we need to maybe influence, because we can't change people. No one person can change another person. However, we can influence. Positively influence by hopefully leading by example.
Yeah. Whew. Okay, so with regard to your statement.
Which one? Shit.
About the fact that they scrubbed the website and the CDC scrubbed the website and then came back out and said they removed the website. They removed anything that was put up there by, I guess, you know.
Yeah, they're working on it, and some things they have removed. Yeah.
Okay, so let me just say this. Too much, too little, too late with that. And that certainly doesn't do anything for the trust factor, because you were pushing this rhetoric, you know, and it doesn't really matter. At some point, you know, you have to make a choice, either your integrity or your gig, you know, your integrity or your gig.
Yeah.
And your gig afforded you, and the responsibility in your gig, you know, to the American people should come first every time. So, excuse me, it doesn't serve me well to hear, oh, now we're going to take this stuff out and we're going to admit we did it. Fuck you. Real talk. Like, you were pushing all this stuff, you know what I mean? In a time when we were very vulnerable and desperate, Americans, you know, it's particularly some regions that came through, like New York, you know, where we're from, it's, you know, folks were devastated, in the height of it. And y'all are pushing this rhetoric that you're now going to say you knew was wrong, so you're going to take it off, and you expect us to do how much hokey pokey with you? How much?
You know,
and this is the reason why we don't believe a damn thing that y'all say. We take it with I'll keep it on me. I take it with a grain of freaking salt, because you say one thing and then you're going to turn around and then openly admitting that. Like,
well, you know what happened and what I saw. So they fired, I think, Pop, correct me if I'm wrong on this. The guy that was installed by the former guy only had allegiance to him. So he said he was the one putting out the information. So the scientists were saying one thing, and this guy who was the head and the forefront and the face of everything would give the information. And then if the information wasn't appreciated by the former guy, then he would tell them, well, dumb that down a little bit. And whether they did or not, he dumbed it down. So there was something hokey about why he couldn't be automatically replaced.
There's a whistleblower contingency in every government contract.
No, absolutely. All right. And there was some of that, and people resigned, and they went on the air and said what was going on, and see, as cruelty, the most successful wicked people, i.e. Hitler, they're very savvy, and they get these people to believe and trust anything that they say, and down anybody that tells them another truth or the truth, they can't see it. They're blinded. They don't want to see it. They want to believe the evil. They believe the evil is good or whatever. I can't, but whatever. Anyway, so what recently happened, I believe, is that finally, whoever was supposed to be nominated and put into whatever spot could now kick this guy out. So the guy that was under the former guy is now out. And so the first order of business was cleaning out all of that bull and getting all the misinformation off the website, and cleaning it up. And I agree with you 100%. You know, if you are a scientist and you sat there and said, oh, it's like the flu, you know, to hell with you. To hell with you. In the meanwhile, there were some, I guess, lower level people that don't have a say or not a say, but we're working on getting a vaccination, working on trying to figure out the disease. So, I mean, not all of everything is anything, but that's all I got.
I
still don't trust any of them.
I have to admit, I don't understand a word of it, because my brain can only go back to the fundamentals. See, it's going to shift to basic protection mode 101, which says to me, and I'll give you another way of putting it, if I'm walking and I see a huge ditch, and I tell you the ditch is a barbecue pit, or I tell you that, better yet, I tell you the ditch is a Rolls Royce, and you bypass it, get in it, and fall in it, you know, and I had knowledge of it being something else, to me, you are as guilty. That's called accessory, right?
Absolutely.
And it always comes down to what you believe. That's why I say your soul protection is your own God voice, i.e. instinct. Because you have to, regardless of what people say, this is going to do, and that's going to do this, and this is the reason why, we already know they're lying.
Mm-hmm.
We knew they were lying about how long it was here, how long people, you know, when it came. The backstory to it, you know, they're never gonna, no, not at ALL. They're not gonna do that.
I thought she was gonna go there first.
No.
I was like, what?
Set up.
No, she wouldn't say that.
No, it depends. I mean, I've called people that before. Just being super whack, but man.
I don't know, Wanda, I don't know what's in that thing. Okay. And even when they say what's in it, my God voice is saying, girl, don't you do that. So that's just me.
Like they condition us not to bet on ourselves.
Yeah.
They're so, but to their point, in some cases, to their twisted little thinking, sometimes when people study folk and they've shown up the same way all the time, there's another side of that bet. But I'm gonna say, don't play yourself every time, because at the end of the day, it is what it is. And I just don't come back and tell me you had to scrub something about some information during this time. That'll get you knocked out, seriously. I mean, and metaphorically, but it's just, nah, come on.
But see, my brain has already done a sidebar and played games with Sinner. You're still upset about the CDC. I'm on some whole other stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the wordplay there, I could have so much fun, but I'm not. Okay, back to being serious, y'all. Yeah, this is
you just have
I'm sorry. I'm just crazy. I'm just crazy. So yeah. I'm not. See, you got me right, Senna. I didn't say anything. I
didn't say that word.
But she said, but that's what she came in on. Get it?
All right, yeah.
She came in on.
Choke said, go to their website to study the data on zombies, huh?
God have mercy.
He tried to guilt trip her about talking, that she has followers that listen to her. Interesting. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with Wendy on that one. And she didn't even blink. She says, I'm not taking it.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
She's like, I'm just not. And he's sitting there blinking. And do you mind if I ask why? I mean, come on. No is, last time I heard, no was an absolute sentence.
But you know what? She was very clear, and there was nothing he could say about it, and that was that.
And she kept it very short. And
I loved her for it.
Don't trust it. I know I'm not taking it. And he kept pushing. That's why he got the I'm not taking it.
It was very, I thought it was cute, man, personally.
I mean, she has the right to, and people that have people that have taken it have the right to do that as well.
Absolutely.
There's no right or wrong in it. I don't believe. I don't believe there's a right and wrong. I believe that as long as you have options, you should exercise them.
There's a right and a wrong way to love somebody. Just wanted to throw that in there. Sorry.
Oh, man. So how you guys doing out there? How you doing, Wanda and Wendy and Senna and Misty?
Yeah, how's everybody else doing? How y'all doing out there?
Walt,
good.
Papi chulo.
Everybody good? So I remember when I was a kid, and today is St. Patrick's Day. When I was a kid, everybody in the hood even would wear green because everybody celebrated St. Patty's Day. Until I got grown, and I was like, you know what? I'm not a McDuffie. I'm not that this doesn't apply to me. However, I will say happy St. Patrick's Day, and maybe I'll change my mind. I don't know. I mean, there's always a potential for change and growth for me, and I'm willing to do whatever is necessary. Yeah. So,
well, I would eat the corned beef, cabbage, and potatoes, and celebrate anybody that all the Irish pubs will pop in, so you'd celebrate in any way capacity, but in hopes that they would also celebrate your culture. We are just a culture of we're just a melting pot of different cultures, you know. So, and
yeah, it almost feels sinful to pull this picture down. I'm going to move. I'm going to move it. I'm going to move it. I'm going to do it. It's such a nice green, though.
You know, you really need a pill. You need a pill. And I disagree with Diana because there is a cure for this somewhere.
I don't want it. I just look at her. I mean, the green. Look at the green.
We are going to behave ourselves for the rest of the show, aren't we? Aren't we?
Don't she? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. That means the rest of the show.
Happy Shaka Hanukkah.
Oh my goodness. I'm super excited about our guest today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, that's the question. Who didn't either grow up crushing on Thelma, identifying with Thelma like she represented them, or who they could grow up to be, or their daughter, or their homegirl, or, I mean, she was Black girl magic before we had the terminology.
Yes. And you know, and the image of Thelma, the character played so eloquently by Brooklyn's own Bern Nadette Stanis. You know, she represented a demographic at that time, that age, you know, in the 70s that needed that, you know, and she held it up. She was one of our firsts, you know. And I think we spoke about on other shows, you know, for me, it was the first one was Julia, you know, then it was Tamara Dobson, you know, amazing. And just seeing anybody like, you know, we had the Jane Kennedys, the Tamara Dobsons, the Pam Greers, the Bernadette Stanis, you know, like they were in Janae Dubois, I'll add her in there too, because, you know, you know, and then Good Times, the series had a rotation of Black actors and actresses that you still see working today. Some of them, you know, quite a few. There are a lot of that have passed on to glory, but, you know, like the amazing John Amos, shout out to John Amos, and you know, and rest in peace, Esther Rolle. And shout out to Ralph Carter too.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember Ralph from the theater though, too.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, and here's a controversial, you know, personal controversy, not anything global or anything. But I often argue with folk about the first Black father, TV father. I don't credit Bill Cosby for that, you know, although he was a different level. And I think that, you know, he gets his props too for the portrayal of Heathcliff Huxtable.
I don't think he's, well, I don't think amongst us, we see him as the first Black father. I think
listen, I've had this argument, you know, for me, you know, with someone maybe 2 years older than me, that Bill Cosby was not your first Black TV dad. Cut it out.
Right.
Cut it out.
Right.
That was John Amos all day.
Absolutely.
Are you kidding me?
Absolutely.
All day, every day. James held it down. Period. Anybody says any different, see you, sister.
No, and I agree with you 100%.
That's it. You know, but no, because JaVonne. I was like, no. And I understand that was a controversial thing back then, because I've seen many, you know, documentaries.
Well, why is there the controversy that James Evans was not the father? He wasn't the daddy? Is that what they're saying? No,
that's not the controversial part. The controversial part is I heard many interviews, particularly ones with Esther Rolle, where she said that she had to fight for a James character to represent a Black male in the home because it wasn't initially written that way.
Right.
We could ask Bern Nadette some of that too.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
it's kind of, they didn't want to put a black man in the home.
Yeah. Mr. J, but he wasn't actually black, Mr. Drummond. He,
different strokes. And Cabrini Green projects no longer exists. The little girl that really thought they were from Chicago, it was filmed there too, till Thelma danced so eloquently to the song by Odyssey Native New Yorker. And I asked myself, is Thelma from here? Now, let me tell you something. Yes, Thelma is from, yes, Bern Nadette Stanis is from Brooklyn. But Chicago now, they're like Chicago and New York, the house music scene and the music scenes are kind of parallel. So, you gotta, back then Chicago had music and they would have had Native New Yorker, but just so happens that, Bern Nadette is from Brooklyn. Stand up, Brooklyn.
That's it.
Yes.
So
Carl Winslow. Okay. James Evans and Carl Winslow. Got it.
I'm looking forward to speaking with her. And yeah, it's an amazing opportunity to speak to one of your childhood heroes, and I look forward to it.
Nice. And she still is so beautiful and so
absolutely.
Like there's just one thing that we just cannot deny our magic, and it is she just maintained her magic. I would love to know what she's up to, and whether or not she'd actually do any television producing. You think?
Yeah.
I'd love to know what it was like on sets back then, and when she went to things like auditions, how that was, if she did that, Because I can, you have stories about auditions from whatever, from different levels of things, either television, theater, or modeling even, and for Black women, in those at that time. And I'm not saying it like it's ancient because, Good Times wasn't that long ago,
Yeah.
But the reruns are still happening,
Absolutely.
And just wanted to get a take on what that was like for her, and what went into where did she draw from for the character of Thelma?
Cool. I don't have any answers.
No.
But she will.
Yes.
Let's do a little Brooklyn right now.
Oh. Check it out.
I like this.
Now, to all the ladies in the place with style and grace, allow me to lace these lyrical douches in your bushes who rock grooves and make moves with all balls.
All right, that's all I wanted to do.
Shout out to the notorious
B.I.G.
Christopher Wallace.
That's right.
Yes, another Brooklyn baby, by way of Jamaica, I think. Yes.
Yeah. I've been missing Biggie recently. That sort of. Actually, shout out to Puffy and the whole Bad Boys crew. I've been kind of missing them. My East Coast thing has been, kicking, making noise or something.
What are your fingers doing? I hear the clicks.
Yeah, they're just moving around. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to do anything erratic right now.
Yeah, that was, oof, boy. What other shows were popular back then when Good Times was in full swing?
Oh, don't know. When Good Times was good. Well,
In fact, what were some of your favorite book? I was gonna say one of mine. But what were some of your favorite Good Times characters? Like, who did you like seeing when they rolled through the episode?
well, obviously Thelma. You know,
Yeah, but I mean, outside of
outside of the family,
yes,
outside of like when Janet Jackson joined and Jeanette Dubois. I mean, you know, that crew. You're talking about Bookman, Booger, and
Alderman Davis.
Even what's his name? Oh Jesus, why I call my boy? What's his name? Stanley Bennett Clay's character. Jimmy. I can't think of the last name. He ran against Alderman Davis. And I remember when Thelma was engaged and married Keith.
And when she dated Ife.
Yes.
And had those
eBay.
Right, eBay. And had those beautiful banging ass cornrows in her hair. Yep. There was one pull-up shot of Thelma just face in the camera. The whole screen was under her face in the camera in those braids, and it was just a beauty shot out of the world. The pink buffalo butt, yeah. Sweet Daddy Williams and Ned the Wino.
Yep.
And what was another one? That was Garrett Morris, Sweet Daddy Williams, right?
Yep. And all of those girls that JJ would date. Vernee Watson did a run through, and Rosalind Cash, God rest her soul, a beautiful soul.
Yes.
So many wonderful people ran through. Even Stymie had a role for a while. From Little Rascals, as he was grown up. Right? Yeah, Stymie.
Tell me what episode was Stymie and what was he doing?
He was hanging out with, I can't remember who, but I think he worked with James at some point. And he was still wearing the hat.
Oh, was he the one that told them that James died?
I don't remember that.
And that's another thing. Before JR got shot, James died. Remember who we were when James died? When they were having the party, and then the message came through, we were just like,
Lenny, who has plenty.
Yes. Lenny.
Yes. Absolutely.
You know, and they dealt.
We could talk over it. I think, right?
Yep. And then they had real subject matter.
Yeah, all the time.
Real subject matter. And it was real subject matter, you know, that happened, like from boy being a white racist word, and it still is, to what they do when you are the conditions that our seniors have to do in the world. You know, they don't want to be reduced to eating can or pet. To
child abuse,
to employment and how they do us, you know, and just the tenacity that, you know, getting up and doing it and what we are used to, and politics.
Yep.
That is still, you know, I mean, still doing what it's doing.
Yeah. It's funny. We as much as we change, we stay the same.
You know, it's interesting that we have things that you think, I'm just going to start saying it, they've been publicly ignored, because the fact of the matter is that all that subject matter was teaching folks stuff, you know, early.
Yep.
Early. And Cabrini Green was torn down since then. Yeah, and drug addiction, that's right, JJ's fiance. And when JJ was dating the older woman, yeah,
that was Rosalind Cash.
yeah.
Stymie was the one that gave Florida Evans the check from James' job, co-workers at the house at the repast.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And even religion. Remember how Michael wanted to replace
Black Jesus?
Black Jesus?
It was Ned the Wino.
Yes.
But you know what? That's kind of deep because Jesus is in all of us, including Ned the Wino.
When he grabbed that Bible and said, "Look, Mama, it says right here."
Yeah.
Look, Mama, it says right here. I just knew
exactly.
It was
Damn.
Exactly.
Hell. Hell.
The guy that played Cletus is my ex-husband's uncle's wife's second. I'm a hurt one. That's a tongue twister. Okay, my ex-husband's uncle's wife's second cousin. Okay. Okay, Cletus.
Okay, all right now.
Yes. JJ's girlfriend was a junkie. Poor Debbie. Yeah, Debbie Allen. We can't shout out to Debbie Allen. That's right. She came through in episodes.
Yep.
Yes, she did. I'd love to know, we can go on and on and on about just so many, like, do you have a favorite Good Times episode?
Well, we just ran through just about all of them, so not really. Anything that Thelma was in, anything that Michael had a role in, being the militant midget, pretty much, I identified somewhere in between the two of them, and I loved just anything. I also liked the episode where JJ was courting this young lady who had nothing for him, and he was painting. Yes, exactly, Sage. Of course, that's what I was going to say. The artwork when he was painting her, and
Sweet Daddy Williams's
no
girlfriend. He was painting her too. Remember?
Oh, I don't remember that one. But this young girl, she had another boyfriend, and she was pretending to like JJ. And, Thelma was like, I don't know what she wants you for. It just really reminds. See, my brother, when we were kids, when that show was running, he was tall, skinny like a string bean, and wore the same kind of JJ hat. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I swore for the life of me he looked like him. So I really I just really identified with that whole situation. And yes, when Ned the Wino's wife came and they were doing that
apartment contest.
Yeah. And she said anybody could fix up Ned. Oh.
Yeah, and it's so funny how she kept it cool and kept it real cute. At the end, she was like, because he's my husband. I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
But
what about you? What was your favorite?
Oh, man. I liked when Janae and Esther were doing the dance contest. They were in some kind of show.
Okay.
And Thelma. And I liked anything when I love when John was there, in the seasons, and how he always he rejected anything that didn't serve his family, Yeah. If he thought that, and watching the way him and Esther worked together to get him to understand certain things that he didn't, show his vulnerabilities as a man, show him what he still walked away from that with a belief system, that was in place despite his circumstances. He had a belief and a what's the word? He had a boundary for his family that he didn't want anything to interrupt. And how anything ever happened, he was the first one with his hat on off that coat rack.
Absolutely.
The Evans apartment number is disclosed as apartment 17C. Yeah, 17C.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't know, just anything that Bern Nadette Stanis was in was exciting. Any role when she would dance. And that's another thing I wonder about. Was she like a trained dancer? What was that I heard?
That was me trying to put things on mute before the call picked up and wasn't quite successful.
Okay. Yeah, so I was very, very excited. I'm very excited about tonight's show, and just looking forward to talking to her and asking her some of the very same questions. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward.
You know, last time I was in Mexico, we went to tour these amazing cenotes, you know. And, you know, if you've been inside a cenote in Mexico, you know that your voice echoes when you get into certain parts of the caves, right? Mm-hmm. And for some odd reason, please do not ask me why, the four of us, started singing the theme song to Good Times. Mm-hmm. All of us, you know, out loud, and even the end of it, we tagged it up. And shout out to Monifa, shout out to Supreme Rain, and shout out to Shannon Amos, who was with us on that voyage.
Very cool.
Yeah, we just you know, and that's often you know, it's hard not to sing it when you hear it. Come on, the first couple of chords, and you're like off. Do you know the song, JaVonne?
I've heard it before.
Do you know the words to the song?
Keeping your head above water. You know what? Instead of me trying to embarrass myself and singing the song that everybody already knows, and it was already sung loverly by, and do you know?
Yes, I do.
I believe.
It is true.
It is true.
Yes. She sang the theme song for that and the Jeffersons. And
wrote, I believe, the theme song for Good Times.
And the Jeffersons.
Keeping you. I'm not going to sing it, but you know what?
Well, first you get just looking out of the window, watching the asphalt grow. We would talk the lyrics.
All right. How about instead of discussing the lyrics, we just get to it. The main event. Ladies and gentlemen. And bring on the most beautiful girl on television ever. Yeah, I said it, damn it. Bern Nadette Stanis. Woo!
Thank you. Thank you. What a beautiful introduction, guys.
Hello. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Hanging in there, Bernadette, trying to get through some of this madness, you know.
It is madness.
How you been holding up in it?
I've been holding up pretty good, you know. Okay. I'm holding up my daughters, you know, they're like, what's going on? I'm like, well, just calm down, just stay centered, you know.
Absolutely.
The best we can.
Can I say you look exactly the same as you did in the last rerun of Good Times that I just watched?
Thank you.
What is going on? What kind of black girl magic is going on here? And has been going on since the beginning of Black Girl Magic Dumb. You created it. So, oh my God, you look wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah.
We had a I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you know, I was the first Black female teenager ever on television. So I think that, you know, that makes me sound a little dusty, but.
No, it does not. Not at all.
But it was very interesting because being born and raised in Brooklyn, in Brownsville, I kind of knew what, Thelma was about. And, like in the beginning of the show, they didn't know what to write for her. They just had her saying like, "Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Shut up, JJ." And I was always in the bathroom. So I remember going to Esther and I said, "That's Mom." I called her Mom. I said, "Mom, I'm so bored. I mean, I know I could do more than this." And so she said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I could do more stuff. I could say more." She said, "All right, then let me handle it." And she did. She told me to go up to those producers and tell them who Thelma was.
And what exactly did you tell them? Because you worked it. Okay, so Thelma was it for all of us, especially for us in the PJs.
Yes.
Well, they didn't understand. I said, just because a girl is born and raised in the projects and she has dreams, she has desires. She wants to become something. I don't know what your image of her is, but she's a dancer, because that's what I was, and I was a trained dancer. My mother kept me in dance school. My grandmother put me in at 5 and said to my mother, "Keep her in there." So I guess she knew I needed something, growing up, like that. I needed to have something to aspire to become, or something from a young age, keep me out of trouble. So, well, that's how we did. We did it like that. I told them, and she wanted to go to college. But back in those days, it was really interesting because they had to fight about whether she was going to go to college or whether she was going to get married. Okay, because back then, at a certain age, you got married.
Right.
Mostly, you got married. So we ended up doing both.
Yes, and
then you got married.
I remember the episode where you called Mom and to tell her about Keith, right? And you said, "Mom, I just have to marry him right now." And then you, "No, I'm not. No, Mom." I love that. I just love that.
No, I'm not pregnant now.
Yes,
We didn't say it. Yeah. We touched on a lot of real issues on Good Times. That was one of the things that I really loved about the show, that they went in on truth, like when we had the junkie, when we had the alcoholic girl, when we had, just different things. They really went in, gangs, the Lone Shark, VD,
You hear me?
Way back in the day. But it was so cute the way they wrote it well, because young kids could watch it and not really know what was going on.
Right. Although now I'm trying to remember the VD episode. I'm like, wait a minute, I thought I remembered everything. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to.
It was done in a way that was very tasteful. They didn't actually say, there was a lot of tongue in cheek, but it was readable.
Yeah. Jay Leno was in that one.
Wow, what?
Yeah, he was in the.
Y'all had some amazing guests come through. We were just talking about it.
Yeah.
some of the wonderful people. Stymie, I mean, yeah, we did have Stymie on there. Yes, we did.
Just amazing.
It was amazing to meet him. You know, because I remember he was a little boy, and then I see this grown man. You know, but he was. It was amazing to see him. Yeah.
And Thelma was such a good girl. That must speak to who you were in some kind of way, because if you spoke to the producers about who Thelma might be and they took your cue, there was a lot of good girls in the projects, but there were some girls in the project that weren't necessarily good. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, I was raised pretty strict, you know, so it was no time I couldn't slip. I looked at my two parents and I said, I'm just gonna be good. They were on it. I'm like, okay, I can't even, and I don't know how to lie and get away with it. You know, they know you. You know, you're in a small, tiny little apartment. You know,
right?
You lie, you know. So I said to myself, you know, it's no point. Let me just try to be good till I get out.
Yeah.
Is it safe to say they had no African American writers on Good Times?
Well, it's safe to say that, but we did have one. Of course, Eric Monty was there. You know, because he created the show, a very creative man. And then we had another writer on the show that was a black guy, but all the rest of them were white. But you have to understand that it was very interesting because we were the first family black show, right? The whole family.
Right.
So you're going to have white writers dealing with it. You know, they were there. They write all the white shows. So we had to teach them who we were. And then we had to learn certain things that they did not understand, you know, about a black family.
Give us an example.
I don't know. It was a line in one of the scripts where I think the father, John, says something about, yeah, my baby girl really, you know, it was kind of weird. And he said, we don't do that. I'll never look at my baby girl other than a baby girl.
Right.
You know, so that had to be straightened out. He said, yeah, but that's just acknowledging that she's growing. And they said, no, they didn't want to do that. These little things like that.
Gotcha.
That's funny that you mentioned Eric Monty, because I always, in my mind, think Norman Lear.
Well, Eric Monty and Michael Evans are the creators of Good Times. That's why they had the little Ralph played Michael Evans.
Right.
Okay. No, Norman was the developer. He was the money man. He was the man that got it on, you know. I don't think that he really he didn't develop it. I mean, he developed it. He didn't create it.
Right.
Right. Because they created Sanford and Son too. You know, so they were the creators.
And different strokes too, yeah?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I just know about, you know, my little group, you know, whatever. But you know, so Norman was the developer. And so but he didn't create it.
Okay. I understand that Esther Rolle did quite a bit of advocacy, you know, because initially, and I said I was going to talk to you about it, initially the show did not have a father attached to it. Is there any truth to that? And she advocated for there to be a father.
Absolutely. Norman and she were very close. Norman really, really liked her, and, you know, she liked Norman. You know, they were good, you know, they worked well together. Then he said he wanted her to have 3 children, and there was no father. So she said, well, I grew up with a father in my home, and I know I did too. So she said, there are Black women that can have a husband, and Black fathers stay with their Black wives, and they stay with their Black kids. So if you don't want me to have a husband, then you have to get another actress. She was not having that. He wanted the world to see a strong Black father figure in the home. And she fought for him. And John got it, you know. She wanted John. She wanted John Amos.
Wow.
Amen.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about Esther Rolle, because she was just phenomenal. When I read about her, you know, just what was it like working with her?
You know, she was just, I would say she was a cool cucumber baby. She was very, very laid back, very sharp, very well read, read through you. You know, you couldn't put nothing over on her. And she would just take her time and listen. She would never get excited. Never saw her excited. Always laid back. And then when it was over, she would say, well, I just think this and I think that. And being the star of the show, it went her way most times. You see, but she was very, very fair. I loved her dearly. She never had children. So I told her, well, you have one, and that's me. And she's like, what? I don't want you to be. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And so I was her daughter, and I would just stay around her all the time. I loved her. She was just a fun lady, a fun woman. She never imposed who I was. She allowed me to be me. She kept it in line. You know, I mean, these are the things you do. These are the things you don't do. So she laid some groundwork in the beginning when I first got there, because I was the rookie. I had never worked on a professional show before. So she said, you know, this is what you do, this is what you don't do. And I watched her and I learned a lot from her, and, you know, I was cool. John taught me how, like he said, when the producers ask you a question or your opinion about stuff and you're so young, you really don't have an opinion right now, so you have not too much to say. Don't say too much. I said, okay. So, I mean, I just was obedient. I just listened. I didn't say too much, and I just did my job, and that was it.
Well,
I listened to them. They taught me well.
Well, you came from a school of some acting vets, and you know, and being in there, you held your own, because you represented, and you're absolutely right. I'm glad you said it before I did, because you were our first teenager. You know, everybody had you. Every Black girl had you on the radar, Bernadette.
And every Black boy as well.
Well, that's a different subject, but true.
Just so that you know, I would not be able to go to my family for anything ever if I did not tell you my brother, Larry, although his actual name is James, is a big fan. You were his first crush. He still loves you, and I had to tell you that.
Thank you, Larry. James.
Oh God.
Maybe one day we'll meet.
Oh, brother. He's signing divorce papers right now. See what you did?
That's so cute. That's great.
You can absolutely tell. We have I don't know if you can see it from your point of view, Bernadette, but we have a whole chat audience to the right of the screen, and they're the ones asking a ton of questions right now. So I think she answered one of them where it said that were you a trained dancer, and that you could tell. You could tell because whenever they played music and you, JJ, got it in, you tore it down. Like,
I look at it now. I'm like, what are you doing? What you doing? You know, but I enjoyed that. I enjoyed dancing. I always thought I was going to be a dancer. You know, I never really thought I was going to be an actress, but I started acting early too. But dancing was my passion. You know, I used to be a dramatic dancer. You know, I still dance a lot, but you know, I really did dance back then. You know, I loved it.
You could tell you had the form. Because you murdered it. I don't care if the scene is 3 seconds. In those 3 seconds, you would have done 20 moves and just murdered it.
Hey, wait a minute now. I used to, being Larry's little sister, you know, I had to try to figure out how to be as Thelma-esque as possible. Okay. He was very, sorry, Larry, but he was very JJ, okay? But I learned how to do the freak out.
Oh yeah, the freak out. And then it's so cute because some like when I do a book signing, sometimes the ladies will come to me and say, I know how to do the Thelma, and they go, they call it the Thelma. I'm like, oh really?
Oh yeah, man. You definitely. So tell us about the Remembering the Good Times Foundation.
Okay. Well, it became the Remembering the Good Times Foundation because, you know, my mom had Alzheimer's and I was her caregiver for 8 years, you know, and this was almost sort of at the end of this, not the end, but she was doing not so well at this point. And she wanted to watch Good Times. When she would watch Good Times, she would lighten up, you know, she would love it. So one day she and I were sitting down together and Good Times was on and, you know, Thelma JJ doing their little thing. And my mom turned to me and she said, you know, that's a cute little old girl. I said, yeah, Mom. It hit me like I couldn't believe that she really forgot it was me. And I mean, the very thing that changed our lives, in fact, it was really her that got me Good Times. You know, how she, you know, without her faith in me and her pushing me, there would be no Thelma on that show, you know? And for that to happen, I looked and I said, oh my God. I said, when this thing is done, because I know what it was doing, when this thing is done, I'm going to form a foundation and call it Remembering the Good Times, an Alzheimer's Foundation. That's how it came up. Yeah. And and her last, the last night of her life, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, because you never know what death is if you never really, was in the room with it. And I was, and I was very afraid, and until I got there. And it was as if, when I got to the room, because by this time she was in the hospital and had a little tube down because you couldn't eat anymore. So she had the feeding tube and all that. And they called and said her vitals were failing. So I had to get to the hospital. I was so scared of what I would see. And it was horrible. And then when I got to the door of her room, it was as if God said to me, this is going to happen and make it good for her. It was as if I understood just what I had to do. And when I went in that room, it was so peaceful. And I wasn't afraid. And I was sad, but I wasn't sad like, I'm gonna lose my mother. No. Because I knew that I had to make it good for her. And she loved me so much, and I loved her so much that if she felt I was in that kind of torment, it would be hard for her to leave. So I made sure she knew I was okay. And I talked her out, all the way.
Thank you for sharing that.
I was going to say the same exact.
Bernadette, primarily because, people struggle, and the mother's death of any parent is always a major, major one. And I don't care what age they are, or what age you are, And I have a saying, or not a saying, but an understanding about legacy, and people that live, that poured into other people, like your mom poured into you, and part of when, because I've had a few friends that have had a real rough way with losing their parents for a very, very long period of time. And, and some I've dealt with gingerly, and others I've had to shake them a bit. And I say that lovingly only because, and I'm going to preface this in advance by saying that sometimes it's a disservice to the spirit of the person that lived for you to fall apart when they poured so much in. So in their legacy, and when I can imagine when parents leave, they only want to know their kids are okay. And you said something very profound, that if you were not okay, she would have struggled to try to stay here, not in her best self,
So I let her know that it was okay, that I was okay. And the funny part about it is that I laid down next to her, and I told her, I said, Mom, I'm gonna lay here with you. I'm not gonna leave until this thing is done. We knew what this thing was. And the clock was before me, laying down on her bed. The clock was ahead of us. And I laid down with my mother, and it was so peaceful. Do you know I fell asleep for 2 hours? How can you fall asleep in your dying mother's arms for 2 hours? And that bothered me, because when I woke up, I was really scared to look, because I didn't know and she was still looking around. She was fine. And my brother, being a pastor, when mommy passed on, when she transitioned, I always say, I told my brother, I said, what puzzled me was the fact that I fell asleep in mommy's arms in the bed when she was, dying. What is that? And then I said, I feel really bad about that. And he says, don't feel bad. He said, because you had to fall asleep, because it wasn't for you, it's for mommy to know that if you can sleep in her arms now, you're going to be okay.
Amazing, amazing story. Thank you for sharing that. So, and the idea behind the foundation does what for people with Alzheimer's?
Well, we go out to the churches. I wrote the book The Last Night because I wanted to share with the world. At that time, they weren't talking too much about Alzheimer's. They were, but they really weren't. But I wanted to share the late night questions, the late night crying, and begging God and asking God to reverse this thing and falling apart, that kind of hurt that you can't read about, that kind of pain that nobody talks about. You can't talk to people because they don't know. They hear you, but unless they're going through something like that, they don't really get it. And they don't get it. So you hold it in and you cry and you go through it, and it always hits in the middle of the night. So I'm like, God, this is torture. And I said, when this was over, I said, I'm going to write the ugly parts of it and how I had to deal with it and how we deal with it as caregivers. Just tell the story. Because there are a lot of people that are suffering in silence with things like this, with Alzheimer's, with caregiving in general. And so I just wanted to share that with the world and help anyone to come through like everyone helps me come through. When I talk to people with my fans, they've helped me because they tell me they love me. They give me the love. They say thank you, just like you girls are doing with me now. These are healing things, and it helped me to get through.
Well, we certainly do love you. And
Facts.
thank you so very much. You've actually just helped me with some things personally. Honestly, things that I've recently gone through, things that I'm afraid to go through, things that are inevitable. And how do you help others? And just so many different things, I was I don't know, maybe about, I guess, what year did the show run through? It was
74 to 79.
So I was between 10 and, a preteen during that time. And so I looked up to you like a big sister. And here it is in real life, you're giving me big sister. So, life is just amazing. And we all owe that to your mom.
Thank you
for getting you on to good times. You know what I mean? And it's just amazing how the cycle goes, the love cycle.
Is
what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for sharing. Please tell everybody how we can get your book. And I understand you wrote 3 books.
Yes, I did. I wrote the first book I wrote about relationships, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I wrote 101 different situations that I had heard and I had dealt with. Because, for some reason, I get my friends and they tell me their thing and I give them advice just like that. I like a big sister. And I don't know their friends, so they know that it can't get out. So I'll tell them what I think about it. And then sometimes it helps them. Sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes it helps them. And I did a lot of plays and I traveled the whole country and I made a lot of friends and I heard a lot of stories. And I said, some of these stories are so similar. I said, maybe it's time to put this out there and give my little advice. Just, they may not take my advice, but just to hear that they're not alone. That these stories go on. And maybe if they haven't gone through this, maybe it will help them if they spot it and they say, well, I read about that. Maybe I'll do it this way. Maybe I'll do it that way. Then, so that's how I wrote that book. So that was on relationships. Then after touring with that book, I realized that relationships really, really do break up because of money. A lot of them. Money. I'm like, wait, hold up. And so I said, maybe I'll write a little something about money. I wrote basically a lot of informational stuff about money because a lot of times we don't learn that. We don't learn the basic stuff about money. Then there's a relationship with your money. How do you feel about your money? How do you feel sharing your money? How do you feel if someone's making more money than you and they get mad one day and tell you about it? I mean, come on. How do you got to have a relationship with money. You got to have a contract with money as you do with real relationships. Okay, we're going to do it this way. I don't want to hear it another way. We're going to do it this way.
Okay, now. Does
You know
that
what
really
I mean?
work for you? Does that really work? Like, okay, we're gonna do it this way, and I don't want to hear it another way.
Well, you can't say it like that.
Oh, okay.
You got to do it in a cool way, because it is everybody's money. So I would always say, okay, let's do it like this. Let's put the money together. You have your part. I have my part. So there's 3 like bank accounts, and you have your little thing. I have your little thing, but we got this most of the thing right here for these bills in our life. They seem to understand that, but you know how people dip and dab and change it up. So you just have to keep an eye on your money and be gentle, be sweet, give gifts, share. Sometimes somebody is low because they're not working or something like that. Don't make them feel any way, because it becomes our money, because that's basically your relationship.
Right. Nice. So the relationship book, and that can be across the board for a lot of different things: relationship with money, relationship with self, relationship with significant other. Like,
yes.
Did you break it down like that in chapters? I
didn't break it down like that. Okay. I wrote some scenarios. I wrote about 20 or 30 different little things, trying to get a certain point across about what I was trying to talk about, like investment, credit cards, paying your credit cards. So I wrote stories like that. And then I have a whole list of things that we should know, and a whole lot of things of how to clean your credit, things like that. But when I do go out and talk about that, I talk about what we just talked about, about how to deal with that money.
Someone wrote something in the chat here that I think I want to share with you. It says, our greatest gift is to take care of our loved ones. Many blessings to you. And she's talking to you, Bernadette. May your mom's wisdom and spirit continue to live within your heart.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
From Smokey Mitchell.
Thank you so much. And that's so true. I feel like a death. People say death, but I don't look at death like death. I look at death like it's an old garment that falls away, and you have to get a new garment. I feel like the body was gone. She couldn't hold on anymore. She didn't want to leave, but the body was no good. So she had to transition. And when we transition, we don't know exactly what it is, but I do believe that spirit never dies. I believe that energy never dies. And I believe that they are around us if we want them. They know if you can handle it, and they know if you can't handle it. They know if you can handle it, you may feel her. You may even see her. You may smell her, because there is a perfume smell that angels have. So if you're afraid, they won't bother you because they love you. But if you are strong enough, then they'll let you know they're there.
One of my major caretakers passed away, and her favorite scent at the time was Estee Lauder's Youth Dew.
Wow.
And every single time I smell it, and I don't know anybody who wears it anymore.
Nobody smells it but you.
But I would smell it, and I just got to the point where I would just acknowledge it. Hey, and I would just smile.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. But it's hard to talk that way to certain people because they don't understand it. But until you experience something like that, you know what I mean? And that's like to me, that's like a gift.
Absolutely.
When you know that they're around. Sometimes I'm going through something even by myself, because she used to be my girlfriend. I used to call and tell her all kind of crazy stuff that I can't tell anybody else. So I say, Ma, I wish I could talk to you. I could talk to you. And I still talk. And I don't get an answer, of course not, but I get a comfort, and I seem like I do understand what to do.
How would one go to access the services that you provide through your foundation?
They can go to rememberingthegoodtimes.org, and you can read about everything, or they can contact my website, which is thelmaofgoodtimes.com, and my email is there, and you can write me, and we can talk about it there. So I'm easy to get a hold to. I'm on Instagram, Thelma of Good Times. My Facebook is Bern Nadette they did that. And Stanis, I don't know why it's like that, but we put it together like that. We took a little blue dot there. So you know that's me.
Good.
Because there are other people out there who have a lot more followers than me.
Uh-oh, did she freeze?
I think she's frozen.
Maybe she pop back on.
Yeah, I'm sure she will. She's too good to disappear. It's her internet.
We'll probably sync up in a minute.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing to have a foundation, because I know there's so many people that are dealing with or caring for a loved one that has Alzheimer's. And it's a serious subject, and she's right. We need to talk about that more. You know, some of us need to understand what it actually is and what the signs are. You know, how do we know? Because there's always like signs that come up that you notice about a person that are shifting, you know.
Yep. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove her from the screen.
Okay.
And Pop, if you could reach out and ask her to come back on, just reset. That would be helpful. Yes, Thelma of Good Times.
Yes. The natural mole. It's an astrology class. When Robert Nosmole came up, the teacher said, Hierophant. Thus, anyone with a natural mole in their body is a hero.
We got lost. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We knew you were coming back. We knew that.
So you were right in the middle of telling us how one could access your services.
Oh, yes. Just Instagram is Thelma of Good Times. Facebook is Bern Nadette Stanis with the blue dot, because I had someone who had a whole lot of followers, and I had to fight, you know, to let them know that it wasn't that wasn't me. I'm me, you know. So sometimes they have people on there that are playing like they're me, that they're not. So I'm in. If you see the blue dot, that's me.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
See, everybody wants to be Thelma.
A lot of followers too. It was a man.
Well, so there are some men that.
Oh boy.
Listen, you know, there are. We were just talking really quickly about some of because Alzheimer's is a big thing, and I agree with you when you talked about how people don't feel comfortable in talking about it. You know, which is something that, you know, can do our loved ones serious disservice if we don't talk about it. You know, we don't bring it up.
Like be in denial of it. You mean like that?
Maybe. Yeah.
Well, I was when it first happened. I was just like everybody else. I was in denial. I was like, oh no, we're gonna. You know, I'm gonna say this. Do we have enough time? Because I'm gonna tell you how.
Oh, we have all the time.
Okay, the doctor says to me, I take her to a neurologist, right? When I first got her. And I said, well, Mommy, we're going to figure out what's going on. So I take her to the neurologist, and he sits there and he does his little 1-2 numbers, whatever he does to find out if she has this thing. So then he says to me, okay, what your mother has here, give her this. I said, what is that? So he gave me some kind of medicine, you know, to give her. And then he says, your mother has Alzheimer's. And I stopped and I said, what? He said, your mother has something called Alzheimer's. I said, gee, what's that? I heard about it. Mm-hmm. That's how long I heard about it. I said, but every time I look at television, something like that's not a black thing. That's a white thing. Mm-hmm. He looked at me like this ignorant, you know. So wait a minute. So I sat there and I'm like, this is not even right. I said, Mom, and I'm believing this. And I looked at my mother, turned my mother, said, Mom, how'd you get that? she said in there. And I said, oh, Mommy, I know how you got that. You're Creole. You got, you know. I said, forgive me, Lord. And so I'm looking at the doctor. I said, well, we're going to get rid of this thing because I'm going to give her vitamin D, vitamin B. Hey, Mom, we're going to get this thing in control. I'm going to get rid of it. So ignorant. So ignorant. I just did not know what this was. I didn't know. As I didn't know, I call it the monster of the mind. Because when it grabs hold of you, baby, it's not letting go until it does its job. It's the most wicked thing you ever want to see. It's like Benjamin Button. It's disgusting. And you know, I call it the monster of the mind. But you know what I did? This is one of the things that I put in my book, but I want to say this. I did not understand why God, you know, allowed her to have that. I said she was such a good lady and she was such a good mom. Why would you do something? I mean, why? And I start questioning him. And then I got the point not to question that, not to question God, because you never know what this is. This is her journey, not my journey. Okay, not my journey. Hope it's never my journey. But in the event that it is, I'll have to deal with that. But it's her journey. And it wasn't until my mother passed away that it hit me that my mother was such a scary lady about, you know, if she knew she was dying, it would be torture. It would be horrible. But the fact that she had Alzheimer's, she had no concept that she was dying. So every single morning, mommy got up just like I got up, and happy, and I would get her dressed. You know, I always dressed her because she liked that. And my mother never wore red lipstick, never. And she wanted the reddest, brightest, shiniest lipstick. I put red lipstick on her. She's like, I got this really shiny one with big dot. Oh, I love that. I'm like, then wait, this is the funny part. My mother never wore gaudy jewelry. The biggest, gaudiest thing that you could find, she wanted it on her ear. I said, oh, this is just too much. And so I told my brother, I said, Kyle, why mommy wearing red lipstick and she wants this gaudy rings? And she said, and he made a joke. He said, that's who she really was. That's who she really was. You know? So I mean, we just made, you know, fun of it like that, you know, had fun like that, you know. But I did. I went and bought them little. She lost a really, really beautiful ring. Somebody stole it, I know, but she couldn't tell me. So after that, remember this: if someone has Alzheimer's, take away all the jewelry. Take it away because somebody's gonna steal it from them, and buy the cheapest jewelry you can find. They don't know the difference. That's the sad part. It's just jewelry. The saddest part is that my mother was an accountant and she was on money. I mean, she knew she had an account. She was fast. And when her check would come, I'd get her check and I'd put it in her purse because I just wanted her to have her money. So she had her money. And everywhere we would go, she would give her money away. And I said, I don't think this is a good thing. So what I did was I took her money out of her purse and I went to Toys R Us and I bought her a pack of kid money, fake money, and I put it in her purse. And she opened her purse and she looked at it and she saw her money in there and she took that money out and she laid her money out on a table and stuff like that. And she picked her money up and she put her money back in her purse. And I cried like a baby. I cried like she did not recognize that it was fake money. It's a pitiful thing to see. But I'm just saying I share those things so that if anybody is going through stuff like that, just go along with everything. Don't argue with them because they are grown. They act like a child, but emotionally, somewhere in there, they are grown. And emotionally, they don't lose their feeling. They can't express it, but they know when you don't like them. They know when you hurt them. They can't express it. It's like a child, or like, you know, you have a pet or something, and then you treat them mean, and you treat them mean. They remember that, and they'll let you know it. And see, that's how I communicated with her. I knew who did what because mommy would recoil. And this is so interesting. I had her in in one of the homes, you know, with the feeding tube. And I went to visit her that day, and she didn't like those people. So she didn't talk. So, because she could talk, but she didn't. And so the lady came in one day and she said, well, I was sitting down next to her mommy, and you know, on the chair. And she said, okay, Miss Eula, we have to change you now. We have to change the bedding. Come on, girl, you know, like that. So she pulled my mother to the side, and my mother laid to the side. My mother said, don't hurt me. The lady fell on the floor. She can talk? I didn't know she can talk. I said, no, she can talk. And then I whispered to my mother when she left. I said, you tell me anytime they hurt you or anything. See, she didn't know my mother could talk, but what my mother was saying to me was to hurt me, because she would never say that unless the woman hurt her. So, you know, there's certain things you learn, you know, and I shared that so that other people going through things, when they have parents, watch the emotional part, watch what's going on. You can tell. You can tell what's going on.
Very good. You know, you are helping an awful lot of people.
Thank you.
You know, this interview will live in the YouTube archives after we're done. And, you know, and I know several people in my life who are taking care of parents with Alzheimer's, and had several people that were affected by it, whose parents are no longer with us physically. Yeah. What are some of the signs that you were able to see that got you in the doctor's office to begin with?
Oh, well, it was her bills, you know, because she came to live with me, and I let her keep her place in New York. So it was like, did you pay my rent? Did you pay my bills? Did you pay my gas? Did you Bern? Did you pay? Yeah, mommy, everything's paid. Everything's paid. Everything's taken care of. Okay. Where's my purse? Where's my purse? Your purse is right next to you, mom. It's right next to you. Where's my purse? Where's my purse? 1,000 times. Where's her purse that was right next to her? 1,000 times. Did you pay all my bills? It was repetitive over and over and over, those same things. And that was not normal. Well, my brother had told me, one of my brothers told me, it's time to come and get mommy. She's not putting it together. And, you know, she couldn't dress herself the way she used to, still things like that. So I was, you know, I took care of her, all that, but it was the repetitive worry, the repetitive thing. And I said, okay, this is it. And once I gave her the medicine, I remember giving her the medicine for the first time, and it snapped in. And she said, Bern? I said, oh, yeah, Ma. She said, I'm back. See, that shows me that she knew something was happening, just didn't know what. And then one time, about months later, she wanted to go back home. So I took her back to New York, and I said, okay, mommy, you're back home now. And so I went to the drugstore. Luckily, I had that key with me. I'm going to tell you why. And so she kept calling me on my cell. I said, mommy, I'm only going to the drugstore. I'll be right back. She says, I'm afraid. I said, mommy, what are you afraid of? She said, I don't know, but my brain, is something going on in there, and I'm afraid. I said, well, don't be afraid. I'll be home in a minute. And I was rushing to get back home. I knocked on the door, and she couldn't answer the door. And I opened the door, and she was on the floor. She had fallen, but this was after she had talked to me. She had fallen, but the brain was changing, and she felt it. She felt it, and it made her afraid. So I think you do feel that something's wrong. You just don't know. And then I took her in to get an X-ray of the brain, because I thought she had osteoporosis all this time, because she was so slow and so stiff. And I'm like, why are you so stiff, mommy? So I took her in, and they scanned her body, and they told me she didn't have that. She didn't have osteoporosis. So I didn't understand why she was so stiff. And when I was putting my book together after she had passed away, it told me why she was stiff. If you have Parkinson's before you have Alzheimer's, it stiffens your body.
Mm.
And she had Parkinson's first.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Wow,
Yeah.
jewels and gems,
Yeah.
and thank you so much for sharing.
I'm watching these comments over
I know,
here, and
there's
you
just
are
so much,
really
just so
yeah.
much.
Mhm.
Smokey Mitchell says, "Mom was an angel to give you this platform to educate us because
Thank
this is a serious issue
Yeah.
that many of us face." And also, someone asked whether or not your mom has ever come to you in your dreams.
Yes. Several times.
You know, when my father comes in my dreams, I feel like it's a visit. I feel like I got it. It's more real than any other dream I ever have.
Yes, I'm glad we're sharing this because a lot of people don't share these things. And I was having a hard time at one time, about 2 years after she had passed. And I kept questioning, did I do enough? Was it something that I could have done? I know I get a look. One day she looked at me and I was like, well, Mommy, I have to go to work, but she wanted to go. And I said, Mommy, I can't take you right now because it's too much for me. Just let me go to work this time and, I'll be back. And that hurt me to say that to her because I can see her face. And that bothered me when she transitioned. That bothered me. And it bothered me for a long time. And I remember it bothered me so bad one night. I went to sleep. And it was that night that I had a dream. And it was a dream about my dad. And it was a dream about my mom. And my dad came first. And he was very wide in the dream. He had a white on me. I said, oh, that's because Daddy looks, because he was a tiny little man. I said, he looks so big. I said, but that's because he's been dead for so long. He died. He was murdered in 91. So that's okay. And so when he came, then Mommy came. And then Mommy had her hands down. It was really weird. And she said, I said, Mommy, hug me. I said, Mommy, why did you have to die? Why? And she said, I had to. I didn't want to, but I had to. And at the end of the dream, Daddy took her hand, and he was a dancer. He was my partner, as a matter of fact. And so he took her to, it was like a club. It was like a nightclub. And I said, oh, so you're taking her to go dance, huh? And he said, yes, I am. And it gave me the peace that I needed.
That's a beautiful dream.
And he told me that I did a good job.
Nice.
So I'm saying it's not over when it's over, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Not over when it's over. So there's a lot more to this than just being here on earth right now.
Absolutely. We were just having that discussion.
I was just
was it Saturday? This Saturday,
Saturday
we were just speaking about energy and how, how
energy
people
never
say,
dies.
Energy never dies. And how people say, oh, I'll sleep when I'm dead. And I don't think you sleep when you're dead because your body needs rest, but your energy, your spirit doesn't need the rest, never rests.
No.
That's why we're dreaming, it's energy.
It's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's deep. And so when Mommy was when she was leaving, I'd say, I could see, like, it's as if she was looking at the real thing, and I could look at her and I could actually see her going. I could see her going. And I told my daughter, I said, she's looking at the real thing. I could feel it. I could see it. So I just want to share that it's not a hurt. Don't look at it like it's over. Don't look at it like a hurt that can't be healed, because it can be healed, because it's a transition. It's really not over. And you have to believe that. And if you believe that, you'll know it, because you'll see things that will show you that.
This is a fortifying moment in the conversations that have been consistent whenever this subject comes up on this show. I personally believe that, we came from spirits, and whatever we needed to learn, they dropped us here for our physical experience, but with the understanding that we'd have to come home. you know?
Absolutely.
So when people think death and they get sad, it technically for me is a homegoing, you know, and we should be celebrating, you know, that whatever, you know, and, you know, I often share, and JaVonne has heard this story a million times, but I had a great aunt that was the caretaker of our family for many years, and she died well into the hundreds. Like she was actually technically 126 living, but they had her on record for 108, you know? Yeah, because you know how they did back then. So, and she would say things like she always made the time for her prayer and meditation. Well, she called it prayer, basically. She always left at a certain point in the day to go up and say her prayers, you know, and it's broad day, you know, just that was her thing. And then sometimes she would say, you know, just as a matter of factly, she goes, well, I don't know why God won't take me. I think I've done everything I'm supposed to do here. You know, she made it seem like an assignment, you know, like what else?
She had something else to do.
You know, she didn't understand.
They go out again. She had to live to 126 because that is an example of how long we can live. She had to show us that.
Yeah, basically. And I'll tell you something, she died of natural causes. She was one of the first women in Hamilton County, Tennessee, that actually had a prescription as she was living in her care center for old granddad, 3 shots a day. They had to give it to her. It was prescribed by her doctor. Yeah. And she died of old age, and that was it. She just, you know, she had her garlic every day, some things that, you know, I remember like very
strong spirit. Yeah, strong spirit, but the body just was done, you know. The body was done. And we can't stop that. The body has to get done.
Yeah.
You know what? You're going to have to come back. You're just gonna have to come back again and again and again because you are dropping jewels. You're speaking to my spirit, and everybody is really learning, feeling, healing from what you are speaking to us about.
Thank you.
You're giving us a whole new good time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. They're like just saying you're amazing, and just, you know, and they're all into, you never know what someone's going through either, you know, what they thought about. And isolation is our biggest enemy because we often get myopic and think that we're the only ones. And when you talk about it, like, this is so healing, you know?
Yes.
I'm going to switch this because I don't want you going out on a note that's not high.
Okay.
So we play a game on the show called Rapid Fire, right? Everybody has a reaction similar to that. But what it is a word association game. And what it does, Bernadette, it just gives people a peek behind the veil, like what's on your mind, you know, that you weren't prompted to say. So and how it works is I'll say a word, then you say what immediately comes to mind, you know, and then I'll say a word, then the JaVonne will switch off and she'll have her turn. So let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. Family.
Children.
Children.
Honey.
Show business.
Yuck.
Dancing.
Love.
Black people.
Amazing.
Motherhood.
Toughness.
Thank you. JaVonne, you're up next.
Truth.
That's a deep one. Clarity.
Acting.
Performing.
Romance.
Deep love.
Good times.
Fun.
Life.
It's hard, but you have to accept it. Acceptance.
Shaka Khan.
I love her. I love that girl.
Could you expound on that one a little bit?
It is something about her spirit. It's just something about her. I met Shaka one time and just said to hi to her, you know, and she looked at me, she's like, hi. No. It's just Shaka. But you know, I just love her. It's just something I don't know what it is, but it's something about her that is just strong. Maybe because we came out around the same time in the 70s. I don't know. But I think that she's just rawly her.
Unapologetically her.
Right. And I just love that.
Yeah, definitely. Bernadette, we're going to ask you for one favor because, you know, we're a 24-hour radio show, internet radio show, and this is international, so we broadcast over a lot of countries. We want to have your legendary voice in our rotation. Would you gift us with that by giving us a drop?
Sure.
Yay.
Absolutely.
Actually, we're going to ask for two. One for the radio station and one for this show.
Okay. I usually can do things if I write it down.
Okay.
Can you give me a minute to write? I'm going to get a pen. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Love her.
Love her.
Oh my.
No, now see, this is when things line up. When people that you know, have looked at for years and you've imagined and, you know, they're your big sister in your head. And then when you meet their beautiful spirits, everything syncs up decades later. You know what I mean? That is what I call a good day.
This is amazing.
Yes. Okay, I'm back.
Yay.
Back to my paper.
Okay.
All I can say is my bucket list is getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Okay. What do you want me to say?
So the first one is going to be your name.
Mm-hmm.
And you're listening to WJBR Internet Radio.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one will be the visual one.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be your name. Hi, your name. And you're in the basement with JaVonne and Terez.
I'm gonna knock this pen out.
It's not working.
Wow. Okay, wait a minute. One more minute.
She's pew pew.
I know. I love it. She's like, yes, right there. I'll be right back.
You're in the basement. Okay.
Yes, you're in the basement with JaVonne and Terez. So hi, this is Bern Nadette Stanis. You know your girl Thelma. However you want to say it, darling. It's up to you.
All right.
Awesome.
All right.
Ready.
Hi, I'm Bern Nadette Stanis, and you're listening to WJBR Internet Radio.
Perfect.
Hi, I'm Bern Nadette Stanis, and you're in the basement. Sorry.
You're in the basement, yes.
Hi, I'm Bern Nadette Stanis, and you're in the basement with JaVonne and Terez.
Perfect.
Oh, wow.
Would you consider us doing any acting? What are you doing acting wise? Are you still following that? What are you doing?
Well, I am following that. I really am trying to, in between all of the stuff, I'm trying to write a show. I'm really trying to write a show. Mm-hmm. I never did write like a play or a show. I wrote books, but not a show. I'm writing that. I am going to be doing a couple of more plays. Well, not this year, maybe next year, but they want me to do a couple of more plays. There's one play that I did off Broadway for 8 months called Willie and Esther. And they want me to do that down in Florida next year. So it's a 2-act, 2-character play. I play Esther and I got to find me a Willie. And I'm going to be working on that.
Nice.
Not for nothing, but I don't think it'll be too difficult for you to find yourself a Willie. I'm just saying, I'm just the girl from the Bronx, but I know from Willie's, and I don't think
Yeah,
I
I
have
hear
a hard
you.
time finding.
I hear that Bronx accent.
Do you still keep in touch with any of the old Good Times cast members?
I do. I keep in touch with Ralph a lot. I keep in touch with Jimmy. I talk to him all the time.
Oh, nice.
I really think he thinks I'm his real sister.
See how well you acted that part? See?
You didn't call them shut. You done told them to shut up so many times. I'm pretty.
I still do. I still
You do?
step on his foot and everything. Yes.
Who's your favorite? Your favorite episode? You had the most fun doing.
Well, I really enjoyed the African Prince.
Okay.
I enjoyed doing that.
eBay, right?
Yeah, because we had to do the African little hair thing and the whole thing. I thought that was cool. I enjoyed the wedding.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed when when Penny was smoking a cigarette and put the little cigarette underneath the cushion. Who did it? I played a witch. I played all those different characters. I like that. That was cute.
I was just talking about Ife, and when you were telling Esther Roll, but Mom, I love Ife. The close up they did on your face with your cornrows, that shot is stained in my brain because that was one of the most beautiful images I saw at that time of a Black girl.
Wow.
Period. You were kind of you were cheated a bit in the frame, and they zoomed all the way in, and it just lit up the screen. And I just remember saying a feeling of pride, just.
I wanted him to say it was only going to be me, and he couldn't say it. And I said, 5 wives, no. We don't have to go all the way to Africa for that.
Exactly.
Oh man.
You know what? You're just wonderful. You even once someone gets to know you a little bit and get a taste of your spirit, it's even more. Oh my God, we need more Thelma. Any talk about any reunions, cast reunions, nothing like that?
No, they don't want to do it. They want to do it, but they want other characters and stuff. And people want us, they want us to do it, but
absolutely. What other characters? What
other people? I don't know.
No.
You can stage it, but y'all can have, there's so many ways to do that. Somebody don't have an imagination.
No,
yeah.
I mean, Thelma could have kids. Michael could. All y'all could have had kids, and you come that whole thing. You're missing out somebody.
Exactly. I mean, because the hunger all these years later, still, as you can see, we love you. We love you. We love the character. We love the whole cast. We love the guest performances. Hell, Stanley Bennett Clay comes on the show every now and then.
I love him.
Yes. I'm just saying.
Rituals, and I was in it with him.
Yeah. You know what? I watched Rituals recently.
Yeah, I was in it with him. I was the mother.
How could I have forgotten that? Oh my God. I just recently watched that. You were absolutely wonderful in that. That was a wonderful
well, I did the play version.
Okay. Because
television, but I did the play version.
I saw the movie version. So maybe that's why. That's why I didn't connect it, because I remember
I didn't connect. Yeah, I did the play.
Okay, because now you just confused me, but I'm good. But that's good. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it was a good, very well written show. Yeah,
outstanding.
Yeah.
And I don't know,
missing out on an opportunity here. We need to call to get this together to rewrite some stuff, because they're all older now, and that's a good thing. People still find it hard to believe that Bernadette.
Well, I think they wanted to see the continuation, when we moved and then Thelma was pregnant, remember?
Yes.
The last show. So I think they wanted to see that. And I don't know how that could be done, but I think if I were to write something about that, it would have to be Bernadette. But you would know it's Thelma. It would have, you can't, or I would say Thelma, but you have to refer it in a different way because of the rights.
Right. So what could be interesting, and this is for free, you can just take this if, I don't know, and make something of it. I'm just throwing it out there. But Thelma could have these two brothers one older, one younger, and they came from the PJs and did whatever it is that they ended up doing. I mean, you know, you could create a whole.
They want to see that. Yeah, they do want to see what happened to us, though. And I think because the show was cut so short, so fast, that the audience was left, you know, wanting and not complete. And I think that's probably part of the thing. You know what I mean? They never got a completion. Yeah, you know how some shows go on and on. You know what happens, and they bring them back, and we didn't get that. And I don't know why we didn't get it, but we didn't.
Yeah, I think people are hungry for it. Still, I know I damn sure would watch it.
For sure.
I would love to do something like that. And like you would have Thelma's kids that are grown, you know, because by now,
And since, you know, JJ talked about your food so much, your cooking, you could have a restaurant, someone said.
Yeah, somebody said that.
Hey, let's don't serve oatmeal.
Yeah, right. Right. See if you could get Penny back. See if Janet would do Penny, you know?
You might do a cameo.
Yeah, right. Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be cool? Look, we're here for it. I'm just saying. Okay. We're here for it. Whatever you do.
I appreciate that.
Whatever you do, we're here for it.
All right.
We want to thank you so much for coming through.
Absolutely.
And please come back again. We have to set this up.
Just call for me. Call for me.
We're going to call for you. And people still have questions. So there's a lot more to explore here. There's a lot more to explore here. Happy Wednesday.
If you're having anything that you're working on, Bern Nadette, at any given time, and you want promotions or publicity for it, please consider us. Like I said, we'd love to have you at any given time. Your people have our information. Just let us know.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Much. I enjoyed this interview.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. We enjoyed. This is, oh my God. What bucket list? Stop. It's gone. The bucket is gone. Thank you so much.
If you ever need me to do a drop for Christmas or whatever you want me to do, I'll do it for you guys.
Hey.
Thank you. Thank you. Right. Thank you. We're going to call you now.
All right.
You know, I'm known to be the bratty little sister. So yeah.
I'll be there.
Thank you so much. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your week and please stay safe.
Yes.
Please stay safe.
Thank you. You too.
All right.
Love you.
Love you.
What's up, everybody? This is Cy Smith, and you are in the basement with JaVonne and Terez. In the basement with JaVonne and Terez. In the basement with JaVonne and Terez. With the basement, hey, with JaVonne and Terez.
Ooh, I dig that.
And you're listening to and watching Brunch in the Basement with JaVonne and Terez.
Still in the basement, no longer alone, with my homegirl Terez on the microphone. Music, politics, or just chatting it up. Brunch in the basement, see that's what's up. You never know who might run through. Legendary artist or someone brand new. You miss a lot when you miss one day. At least that's what I heard somebody say. But it doesn't really matter what whoever says. It's always a good show with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Brunch in the basement with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Let's see who we got today. Come on, everybody's a friend in my head. I already know everybody. Whatever it is, it's gonna be good. One day I'll tell you about me and Shaka Khan, but you know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But she doesn't know anything about it. But anyway. No, she doesn't. She wasn't even there actually. But anyway.
All our bosses though, Jay. Like she got our ears and
I'm gonna send y'all some perfume. I'll definitely get an address. I'll send y'all out
You can
tomorrow.
send me some cologne, cause I mean,
Cologne,
you know,
like cologne?
yeah.
I will
Just
do
in
that.
case I should meet Shaka Khan, I want to smell really, you know, nice.
Oh God.
Okie dokie, babe. Whatever you say.
The time, so
and we thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you. This part, that little piece, I'm just gonna keep and play it all the time for myself. But no, I'm just teasing.
And I think it's time, Terez, to do a little rapid fire with Mr. Richard Pryor Jr.
I think so. So
Yeah.
Look at his face. Don't worry, we won't hurt you.